Earlier, I spoke to Deepa Mystery. Now, Deepa lives in a shared ownership flat in London, but she can't sell it at the moment because of issues related to cladding. And she's one of a group of people working on a solution to funding cladding-related repairs. It's called the Polluter Pays Bill. I began by getting her to explain the situation she's in.
I'm currently in a shared ownership flat in Southwark. It's a Peabody Housing Association property. And I'm in a 2-bedroom flat with my 3 children and my husband. My 3 children are 6 and under, and they're sharing a bedroom. And we are desperate to move because, you know, as the pandemic showed to us, we just need to get out of the place. We're outgrowing it, and it's just not suitable for 3 children.
So you say shared ownership. What does that mean?
Shared ownership means that you can mortgage on a percentage of the property that you can afford, and the rest of it you pay rent on. And the percentage that you mortgage on, you also pay a service charge on as well. But the service charge actually covers the bills for 100% of the property rather than the percentage that you own.
So talk to me now about why you're having problems when it comes to selling your flat.
Shortly after Grenfell, our building was remediated because it was found to have similar cladding to ACM. There were also a whole raft of internal and external works done to the property. So following that completion of works, we were under the impression, okay, our building is safe, the flat is safe, and we should be able to move on. And last year we were looking at selling up. What happened was we were told by our housing association that you may have problems because you don't have an EWS form, which we then found out that, yes, we don't have an EWS form, and it means that any buyer will not be able to get a mortgage without the lender seeing an EWS form. Now, the EWS form gives, I suppose, the lender some assurance that the building is safe. So it's their way of regaining their trust.
Now, Sarah's still with me, Sarah Corker. Sarah, do you want to have a thought on whether this Polluter Pays Bill is likely to be a choice going forward?
Yeah, there's been lots of discussion about this, and it's got a lot of support from mortgage lenders and builders, as well as the cladding campaigners, as you've heard there. And the Polluter Pays principle is basically the commonly accepted practice that those who produce the pollution should then cover the costs of putting it right. And in this regard, when we're talking about building safety, the aim, I suppose, is to force developers who breach building regulations to pay to fix those faults. But I think there are some challenges. It will only work if this breach of regulation can be proved and those responsible are found. And I think what the last year has certainly shown me reporting on this story is that proving liability can be hard, and actually just tracing the original developers in the first place can be difficult because of the way that the construction industry can sometimes operate. So many of the buildings that are constructed are sometimes done by, an arm's length company, which is then immediately dissolved when the building is sold on. And many blocks are now owned by, investment funds who take no responsibility for construction standards. So there are a few hurdles there, but I think that the principle of the bill definitely makes sense. It's a way forward. But I suppose I'm cautioning that with a lot of these proposals, it's not a quick fix, is it? It could take years to put this into place.
Yeah, and that's what people are just dreading. Sarah, thanks so much. Sarah Corker there. I think I can get to Sophie now as well. Sophie, morning to you.
Hi, morning, Naga.
Morning. Glad we've got you on the line. I was just explaining that you'd received a bill for £208,000 for this cladding and fire safety remediation. I was just explaining that so many people are in this position where they're being landed with these bills and don't even have the prospect of being able to sell their property in order to pay for this. Tell me your situation.
Yeah, so we received a total bill of £14.9 million between 73 leaseholders. And since, for almost over a year now, no one's been able to sell or move on or even consider how to fund these bills. Not that selling your property would help you in any way, because lots of people obviously are in shared ownership or only have a small deposit. So everyone is essentially stuck at the moment where we are. And in July, it was we received a bill for £208,000 £105,000 was due in July. And we actually received the bill a few weeks late, so we were already overdue on that. We're being told at the moment that we have to wait for news from the Building Safety Fund to see if the government are going to be able to fund any of the remediation work, but we're being told that it's likely that won't cover the whole cost, and we may be left with around £60,000 plus to pay each out of the £208,000.
Is there a way out?
There isn't a way out for me, which makes it obviously so much more distressing because, we, as you mentioned previously just now, there's the Polluter Pays Bill or the McPartland-Smith amendments to the Building Safety Bill, but these things could take years, and our remediation has no sign of starting. We have so many things wrong with our building, including missing fire breaks, missing smoke seals, emergency exit signage, all of the fire safety defects that we know are kind of surrounding this crisis. And until all of those things are fixed, or for me and my neighbours, all we can see is that we have to stay put in what will eventually become a building site for over a year.
Oh, Sophie, I feel for you. Thank you. Thank you for telling me what's going on. We're going to make sure that we keep highlighting these issues.